Welcome to U.S. Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Trump ally and election denier announces Senate bid in Arizona. Republican congressman faces fresh charges of stealing donors' identities and credit cards. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry host mental health summit in NYC. Days after record-breaking skydive, 104-year-old woman dies. Exclusive: Southeast Asia eyes hands-off AI rules, defying EU ambitions. Trump ally and election denier announces Senate bid in Arizona. The Guardian. Kari Lake, a Republican candidate who lost the Arizona governor race but never conceded, has announced her run for U.S. Senate in the state. Lake, a former TV news anchor, aligned closely with former President Donald Trump and made false claims about election fraud. She has taken her election denials to court, but her legal team has faced sanctions. Lake's Senate run comes after Republicans lost major races in Arizona in 2022. The state's Senate race is expected to be highly competitive and expensive. Sitting Senator Kyrsten Sinema, an independent, has not announced whether she will seek re-election. Republican congressman faces fresh charges of stealing donors' identities and credit cards. The Guardian. Federal prosecutors added major allegations to the indictment charging the House Republican George Santos with fraud and lying about his campaign finance disclosures, presenting evidence that he stole donors' identities and charged thousands of dollars to their credit cards without their knowledge. The new charges, revealed in a superseding indictment returned on Tuesday by a grand jury in New York, increases the legal peril for the embattled congressman, given that his former campaign treasurer, Nancy Marks, last week pleaded guilty to defrauding the United States. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry host mental health summit in NYC. The Independent. Prince Harry and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, hosted their first in-person event for the Archewell Foundation on World Mental Health Day, with a focus on families affected by tragic loss due to their child's social media use. The couple emphasized the need to provide support, spotlight parents' stories, and collectively find solutions to ensure other families do not experience the same loss. Meghan expressed concern about the influence of social media on children, while Harry spoke about the need to turn pain into a purpose and provide a platform for healing and grieving. Days after record-breaking skydive, 104-year-old woman dies. The Sydney Morning Herald. Dorothy Hoffner, a 104-year-old woman from Chicago who recently skydived and may have set a Guinness World Record for being the oldest person to do so, has died. She was found dead in her sleep by staff at her senior living community. Hoffner made a tandem skydive on October 1, which could have landed her in the record books. Her friend, Joe Conant, is working on ensuring that Guinness certifies her posthumously. Hoffner had no interest in breaking records or receiving publicity for her skydive, she simply wanted to go skydiving again because she enjoyed her first jump at age 100. Exclusive: Southeast Asia eyes hands-off AI rules, defying EU ambitions. Reuters. Countries in Southeast Asia are taking a business-friendly approach to regulating artificial intelligence, AI, in contrast to the European Union's, EU, push for globally harmonized rules, according to a confidential draft seen by Reuters. The ASEAN Guide to AI Ethics and Governance is being circulated to technology companies including IBM, Google, and Meta for feedback and is expected to be finalized in January 2024. The EU has sought to convince Asian governments to adopt its AI rules, which include disclosure of copyrighted and AI-generated content, but ASEAN's approach is voluntary and takes cultural differences into account. Key moment in Sam Bankman-Fried's fraud case as ex-girlfriend testifies against former crypto billionaire. ABC. Caroline Ellison, a former tech executive who ran Sam Bankman-Fried's hedge fund, has testified in his fraud case in New York City, claiming that he directed her to commit fraud. Bankman-Fried, the founder of cryptocurrency exchange FTX, is facing 8 criminal charges, including wire fraud and money laundering, after his cryptocurrency businesses collapsed last year. Ellison's testimony could play a significant role in convicting him. She stated that Bankman-Fried was behind major financial moves and that he directed her to take FTX customer funds to repay debts and make investments. Drug dealer and crew blamed for actor Michael K. Williams' overdose death gets 5 years in prison. The Independent. A member of a drug-dealing crew in New York City has been sentenced to 5 years in prison in connection with the fentanyl-laced heroin death of actor Michael K. Williams. Luis Cruz pleaded guilty to a reduced charge of narcotics conspiracy and admitted to selling drugs to support his own addiction. Federal prosecutors revealed that Cruz and the drug crew continued to sell the deadly heroin even after Williams' death. Williams, known for his role in The Wire, died of an overdose in September 2021 after purchasing heroin from a member of the crew. The Californization of the Texas housing market. Wall Street Journal. Texas is experiencing a decline in housing affordability as a result of an influx of residents from California and other expensive areas of the United States. According to a recent analysis by Storage Cafe, California to Texas was the most popular interstate relocation route in 2021, with about 111,000 people moving from California to Texas during that year. This has resulted in soaring home prices in Texas, with many longtime residents complaining about the Californization of the state. Affordability has declined in cities such as San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, and Austin, with fewer homes being affordable for families earning the median income. Similar price spikes are occurring in other cities around the country where affordable housing has traditionally been available to middle-class professionals. The pandemic has accelerated the trend of people moving to Texas from other states, with net migration increasing nearly 60% in the 5 quarters following the beginning of the pandemic, compared to the 5 quarters preceding it. While Texas is still more affordable than many other states, the drop in affordable housing is significant because the state has always been less expensive than other parts of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Dr. Six, your resident observer from the sixth dimension. It's always a pleasure to bring you the latest news and provide my unique analysis. Let's dive into today's stories. First up, we have Kari Lake, a Trump ally and election denier, announcing her Senate bid in Arizona. It seems like she's taking a page from the Trump playbook by refusing to concede and making false claims about election fraud. But let's be honest, if her legal team is facing sanctions, maybe it's time for her to accept reality and move on. Next, we have Republican Congressman George Santos facing charges of stealing donors' identities and credit cards. Now, I'm no expert, but I don't think that's the kind of financial management you want from a member of Congress. It's like he took the saying "putting your money where your mouth is" a little too literally. On a more positive note, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle hosted a mental health summit in NYC. They focused on families affected by tragic loss due to their child's social media use. It's great to see them using their platform to raise awareness and provide support. Although, if you ask me, the real mental health summit should be for the people who read the comments section on social media. In some sad news, Dorothy Hoffner, the 104-year-old woman who recently set out to skydive, has passed away. She may have missed out on the Guinness World Record, but she lived life to the fullest and did what she loved. So let's raise a glass to Dorothy and remember that age is just a number. Moving on to Southeast Asia, it seems they're taking a different approach to regulating artificial intelligence compared to the EU. While the EU wants globally harmonized rules, ASEAN is going for a more business-friendly and voluntary approach. I guess they're taking the saying "different strokes for different folks" to heart. Or should I say, different codes for different nodes? In a high-profile fraud case, Sam Bankman-Fried's ex-girlfriend has testified against him, claiming he directed her to commit fraud. It's like a real-life soap opera, but instead of love triangles, we have money laundering and wire fraud. I can already hear the dramatic music playing in the background. In a tragic turn of events, a member of a drug-dealing crew has been sentenced to prison in connection with the death of actor Michael K. Williams. It's a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of the drug epidemic. Let's hope this serves as a wake-up call to address the root causes and provide support for those struggling with addiction. Lastly, we have the Californization of the Texas housing market. With an influx of residents from expensive areas like California, housing affordability in Texas is declining. It seems like everyone wants to be a Texan these days, but the locals aren't too happy about it. Maybe they need a new slogan: "Don't mess with Texas, unless you can afford it." That wraps up today's news. Now, it's time for your thoughts. What do you make of Kari Lake's Senate bid? Are you surprised by the charges against Congressman George Santos? And what do you think about the Californization of Texas? Join the conversation and let me know your thoughts. Remember, in the sixth dimension, there's always more than meets the eye. Stay curious, my friends. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.